What's up? Hello. Hello, hello. It's Jessica Riverson here and Jay Muenz. Hello. Welcome. So we are very excited to be together today because we want to share with you how Jay has been crushing her coaching business and just teaching what she talks about. She always shares the real deal, like behind the scenes. She shares the real stuff. And that's what I think is important, because anyone can have a shiny Instagram or a shiny Facebook, but it's what the growth that needs to happen on the inside is what allows us to have these awesome success stories. So are you ready, Jay?
Oh, I am so ready.
Okay. Jay and I always have fun. I want to see if we can share this out really, really quickly. So give me 1 second, everybody. Jay, while I'm sharing this, I would just love for you to introduce yourself. I'm just going to share this out to some of our networks, but just tell us like who you are, what you do, like who you serve, how you help them, like why do people come to you, all that good stuff.
Okay, so I am Jay, and I started Fearful to Fit. I originally started working for myself 6 years ago, and it was more of just like I got an LLC, and then I got a domain, and it just kind of sat there. And then for years, I was like, I have my own business, and I'm a health coach. And it's sad looking back now because it was just, I mean, it wasn't a business. It was more of just I'm doing whatever I know how to do, which was not a lot. And then I freaking found Jessica, who is on the other side of this screen, and I hired her to be my business coach. And I mean, she was the one who basically taught me that you have your own specialties and you have your own expertise, and you're not supposed to be able to know how to do all of it. And so I think like with Jess's help and being a health coach and a detox specialist and leading these annual retreats around Washington has really built my confidence in what I offer and who I work with. And really it comes full circle with having confidence in myself and not being like, what am I supposed to do next anymore? So I think, so I think like doing things like this where you're speaking with women and you both kind of raise your vibration. And it's so important when you work for yourself to build at least an online community of people who are kind of in your same avenue.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think we should share like kind of how we even met, because it's a really good story. I think all of you will relate.
Yes.
So yeah, Jay reached out. She booked a discovery session. That's what we do in coaching, right? You book a discovery session. We had an awesome call, and she gave me, the objection of objections. Well,
I gotta check with my husband.
Yeah, I gotta check with my husband. And I remember
just
I was like,
bought a house.
Yep. Just got married. Like, and it's all like logical stuff, right? Any normal person would be like, I've got a budget, blah, blah, blah. I gotta be smart. And, we're taught to kind of keep it safe and not take those big risks like that. But obviously being an entrepreneur means that you're a risk taker. You're just like, hello, I'm all about risks. And that's just what it is. So I remember we had this amazing conversation, and, I talked about her objections, and, we kind of went through it, but it was like, she sent me an email. She's like, really can't do this. Gave me all the reasons why. And I remember just feeling like, man, like another one bites the dust, like I was like, it was that feeling when that like you can help someone, but they didn't quite see it no matter what you said or did, even if it was like the most amazing call ever, it just didn't quite, get through. And I know that as a coach, like you can't want it more than someone else. So for me, it was just that little feeling of like, man, darn, I was really in it for you, as much as like, we do discovery sessions and we want to have clients, but I remember like the feeling in my heart was like, I was feeling like that sinking feeling because I was like, this is really like would be amazing for her, and
Yeah.
she's just like not totally seeing it. Well, like 2 or 3 days later,
I feel like it was the next day.
yeah, like even the next day, it was really quick. It
Yeah,
was so quick. She sends me an email, and I think the subject was like, I'm in,
it
which
was.
is so Jay. Like, that is Jay. And I was so excited for her that she made that decision because that's what it is, you guys. It's like, you have to say, I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say it. I can be like, oh, Jay, you will do so well.
Yeah.
You have so much potential. Like, I could, and I believe that when I, like, I do believe that. But like, it doesn't matter what I say until you have a full body, like, I'm in.
You know what it was? It was something that a seed you planted in my head, and it was like what you taught us or what you taught me throughout the business coaching was like, you planted this seed and it was like, how long are you going to stay in your exact same position that you've stayed in for 5 years already? And it was like something lit off in my head, and I was like, oh my God, she's so right. Like, I've been doing this by myself, and obviously I'm not getting the results I want. And here's someone who's like, I can teach you what you don't know about running a business. And so I was like, and I mean, it was scary to invest because then it makes it real. Then it's like you have a business and you start to count on yourself. And when you're telling your husband, you're like, I'm going to spend some serious cheese. And he's like, but I didn't even ask him. I just wrote you back. I was like, no,
way to go.
Like, sorry about it, doing it. And then I told him after, which is like, I mean, I don't recommend that, but sometimes it's like, why the hell am I going to ask him? It's a decision for myself, and that will benefit both of us. And it's like, I'm also the decider of my future. It's not like I don't have to check in with him. And I mean, it's a courteous, but it was like, when you realize you are the decider of your future, then you start doing things.
Thank you. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So we kind of took you guys way back because this was like a couple years ago now.
This was like almost probably 3 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe 3.
So Jay was on my blog like a few months after that as a success story because she totally made all her money back and made more. She enrolled. So we created, so I want to tell you like her most recent developments, but I think it's good to hear the evolution. So when we worked together at that time, we came up with the Fearful to Fit, right?
Yeah.
She branded her website. She created a great sales page, or we created it together.
Yeah.
She started getting people in her 90-day program. And not for like a El Cheapo price, for like a high value price point that she was like I think she was selling sessions at that time or something. So now it was like, several $1,000s to work with her, and she was feeling confident in that, and people were seeing the value, and it was just exciting. And it was like, it's game-changing, life-changing money when you're used to doing like some yoga sessions that you get paid for because she's an awesome yoga teacher, or you get like paid for like a health coaching session for one session. And like, you can make a difference, but it's like, you can only make a certain difference in one session. So we really put everything into a program. And that's kind of how things proceeded after that. But then you can jump in anytime, but what I see as an evolution in the coaching business, what I see as my evolution, your evolution, is we learn the business stuff. So Jay and I really worked on a lot of the business stuff. Yeah. And then we get to a point as women, as entrepreneurs, where we start to go, okay, I kind of get like how to package and what to charge, and it's worth it. But like, then that stuff that we still haven't resolved, that shit comes up, right? And it's like, if we don't deal with that, it's hard to really go to the next level.
Well, so when we figured out what I was going to charge for clients, it was kind of a disconnected feeling. Like, it was like, yeah, sure, I can charge that. But when I was on these calls, these discovery calls with women, it was like, I would, just fly through the session. And I was like, yeah, oh my gosh, and they were like, yes. And then I was like, whew, like, I would take a breath in and I'd be like, so, this is what it costs. And I approach it in that way. And I was like, I know it's a lot. So like, just totally think about, and I basically talked them out of, of the program.
Comment if you've done that, you guys. Comment if you've ever talked someone out of purchasing your program.
I mean, I've done that so many times that I can't even count. And then it was like that point where I thought, do I need to lower the rate? And then I really had to do some internal work. And I was like, why the hell do you think you're not worth it? Like, you have changed so many women's lives. You have almost 100 testimonials of women who are like, I've lost this weight, and I had thyroid issues, and I don't have them 3 months after we work together, and all these things. And so it was like, okay, that's enough. Like, enough playing around. Now let's get serious. And so, I mean, if I'm really jumping ahead, but when I went on the business retreat that you had in December, I was just like seeing myself as like this, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I kept saying that. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I'm stuck. And then I think you or Kwaku was like, okay, that's just an excuse to stay exactly where you are, and you're not stuck. Like, stop saying that. And so I needed those little things to be like, stop, just stop. You're not going to get anywhere saying the exact same thing, because you're obviously in a place of comfort and you're scared to go and stretch yourself. And so after that retreat, more opening happened, and I was like, whoa, things happen, things have shifted. And I raised my retreats almost $200 per room. And I don't know, I am thinking it's gonna fill out or sell out like it has for the last 3. And I'm still continually working on this inner bigger program with an even bigger investment, with a retreat to match. And it's like, whoa, I could not have imagined myself where I am today 5 years ago. And then I know that next year, and then even in the next month, and even the next day and the week, I'm going to be a completely different person. And had I not invested that money into business coaching and into my website and into all these things that matter to me, and stop copying everyone who I admire, and like finally stand in my own 2 feet, I would still be floundering around, going from program to program, being like, oh, it's this program that's going to change everything. It's this. And so
let's talk about that. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so one
oh God.
I'm not going to call you out and expose you on everything.
Oh, I don't care. Do it. We're just helping people.
Yeah, we're doing this to help others, you guys. Seriously.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Jay would do, and I see so many coaches do this, and it's not like bad or wrong. It's not the point. But she would like get these programs from other people. Oh, I'm getting an echo. No, why is it? Hold on. Is that better? Echo gone?
Oh, there you go. I can hear you.
Okay, we had an echo. It was weird. But she would, sometimes you can buy prepackaged things from other coaches, like an opt-in, like a freebie opt-in in a box where you just kind of like, you do the swipe copy and you just kind of, it can be really great. But it's like you take whatever opt-in, especially if you're a health coach, you can buy all these other things and you can just kind of like swipe this thing.
You plug and play.
Plug and play, yeah. And it's like, again, nothing wrong with that, but it's sort of like why we're doing it, right? And so Jay and I became friends too. So even when we weren't in a coaching partnership, we'd message each other here and there. She'd be like, well, I got this thing and I'm going to do this. And I got this thing and I'm going to do this. And I got this thing and I'm going to do this. And, when we're not in a coaching relationship, there's only so much I could do or say. But I would be like, like,
okay, let's get back on track. And then I would tell my husband every time, I was like, Jessica called me out for my ADD again, and he was like, I've been telling you the exact same thing. And I was like, okay, like, you sometimes it takes not your husband, not your mom, but like, you're like, okay, how many times do I have to tell you? You have already been doing this, so just trust me. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
And it's trusting ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So one of the themes of just knowing Jay for the past few years is like, it's really been interesting because when she's gone off in this direction or this direction or this direction, sometimes we do that because we are doubting ourselves to some extent. We know we're really good, but there's that little voice that's like still doubting. But it's always come back to the original Fearful to Fit program that we created like 3 years ago. That's like still her most amazing program. And she's been doing these retreats and filling them out. And then now she has this new program. But, in December, Quaku and I decided that we would put on this retreat here in Washington State. And it was just like a one-off thing, right? It was just like, we just wanted to do this retreat. So Jay was one of the amazing women that showed up, and which I was so excited. And I'm just going to say the retreat was an investment, because we really wanted to do some deep work there, and it was serious. So it was a big investment. And, as Jay mentioned, the thing that I think I saw like a complete night and day, like change, was that part of her that was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. Because if you know Jay, that's not even her. Like, it's not even her. But we all have, like, when we're, behind closed doors with our coach, our doubts come out, our fears.
Yeah.
And there was that voice that was like, I'm not sure, I don't know. And we were just like, it's a lie, it's not true. It's like, if you go to church, it's like, the devil's a liar. Like, it's that whole thing. We're just like, it's like, and you need a room of people or a small group of people that hold a mirror up and they're like, this is you, Jay. Like, we all freaking see it, And I think in that moment, you allowed yourself to see it and be like, you know what? I'm going to see the fullness of who I am. I'm going to step into the full expression of who I am and trust that when I lead with that, my programs get filled, my retreats get filled, the right people come forward. And it's like, I saw that shift. And then since then, I feel like it's one of those things where it's gotten better and better and better. Like, if you guys follow Jay on Instagram, if you are on her email list, and we'll tell you how to get those things. But when you see how she shows up and shares of herself, it's so real. It's so raw. It's so honest. You want to coach with her. You want to hang with her. You want to be in her tribe because she's talking about what it really takes. And she's also a living example of it. And so when you pair that with like business strategy, because a lot of the business strategy, it now, you've done it, you've wrote the email sequences, you've created the freebies, you've done webinars, you've done all that stuff. Can we get better? Sure, we can always get better at those things. Yeah. But you're now pairing it with this like unbreakable, solid clarity of like, even in the moments when we're not as clear, we're clear that like expressing ourselves is even if we're like,
it was, I swear to you, it was being like, okay, in my head, it was like, enough is enough. Why emulate all these people? They're in their own dimension because they're doing their own damn thing. Yeah. And so I was like, and it had to keep repeating in my head of, you are your own person. You bring your own stuff to the table. And I had to keep repeating that to myself. And it's like, I don't meditate every morning. And it's like, I don't do the same thing every day. And I would love to be like the people who stick to a schedule. And I would love to be the person who is perfectly in makeup and perfect outfit, perfect kids, like blah, blah, blah. But the people I know, that is so false. Like that. And so that's what fired me up. I was like, okay, let's stop the BS and let's be freaking honest with each other. Being an entrepreneur and being a mom and being a wife and a homeowner and all these things, it's like, it is freaking hard, but you can't imagine a different way. So you just keep going.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good point. Like you would be like, oh, my ADD. And now it's like, well, embrace it.
Yeah.
If you every day it's something different, that's fine. Every day it's something different. I mean, there's something to be said for consistency, etc., focus, but it's like what you do, if anyone is dealing with this, whether it's ADD or just like niche hopping, right? Like niche hopping, like if you're dealing with that, like it's okay, because once you have the business basics foundation, and once you are clear on what your superpower is, like your soul superpower, you're really clear on what it is, you can then use your creativity and call it ADD-ness, whatever. You can use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Every day have this new creative thing come out of you.
Yes.
But kind of direct it towards your next retreat or your new program or working with you one-on-one. Like, so it's like you have the container, and then you
exactly
use this thing that we might have called like a liability. No, it's actually an asset. You turn it into an asset, and you're like, just let it work for me, you know? And now I feel like it's really working for you, because you're visible, you show up. Sometimes your baby's there. Sometimes, you know, it's like things are going on, but it's like, that's why we love you, because you show us the real deal, and you're still freaking, you know, amazing. Not just like as a health coach, you have an amazing body. You're healthy. You have an amazing husband. You have an amazing child. Like, you have an amazing family. You are, I'm not saying anyone's perfect. You're living it and showing it and doing it and helping others. Who wouldn't want to sign up for that, right? Where you're just like, yeah.
This is the sweetest.
Yeah, I think that's what I see in you, and that's why I think your business has grown, and it's just getting better and better and better, because you're accepting all of yourself instead of being like, oh, this is like a problem, and oh my God, I don't know. And it's like, yeah, you do know. It's like, it's right here.
Boom, you do know.
You do know. So I am planning to do, this is something, talk about like, you know, inspired action. I was like on the internet, you know how it goes. And I was like, you know what, we need to do a retreat in Tulum. So I'm just going to put it out there right now, whoever is watching. If you want to go on retreat to Tulum, just put Tulum in the comments. I'm starting to create like a waiting list. I'm thinking about the fall time, so I need to kind of get.
Oh my God!
But it will be sometime in 2018. We still have 9 months of the year, and I just want to share like what is behind this whole expansion retreat. So we do the expansion retreats for our mastermind members, but we also do it as a one-off thing. So Jay came to one that was just like a one-off expansion retreat, and expansion retreat, what it's all about is. It's kind of the evolution of my business, where it's permission to charge as the brand. Then I realized a few years into it that it's really permission to receive, like allowing ourselves to receive. And so the expansion theme, or the purpose of expansion, is I want all of us to expand not only our business skills, because you guys know I have a ton of strategy and I can get really granular with it, but none of that matters if we're blocked. Right? Like, none of it matters if we're not fully allowing ourselves to receive all that we can, to recognize someone will invest in a 10K, 20K, 30K, whatever K program. Like, if we're not willing to, you know, if we just like slap a zero on it and we're like, oh yeah, it's 5,000, it's 10,000, but we don't believe that like we are showing up in our power and delivering a life-changing program for someone else, then of course they won't invest, because we're not 100% invested in ourselves. So
exactly,
that's really what expansion means to me, and why I love doing those retreats, because it's like opening yourself completely to yourself. And when we do that, it's like clients come forward. So some of the new clients you've had recently, because I always think it's good for you guys to know, well, where did she get her clients?
Yeah.
So both of the last two people that just enrolled, even probably the few people before that too, but like they were saying that they were following you. I've been following you for a while. And I think now your messages are even like more bold and more like, you're really asking people to claim what they deserve to have for themselves with their health and
Yeah.
emotional mindset blocks. And both of the most recent two people that enrolled, they said they were following you. I mean, it's like, that's not a complicated funnel. You could have your baby in your hand and go live for 10 minutes and share and speak into people's lives. And yeah, you have your email list and you have some funnels and things like that. But just you showing up, being so certain of your message is what's calling to people's hearts and souls. And they're like private messaging you and being like, hey, you know, I think we need to work together. How can I talk to you? So simple.
I love Instagram because that's where the people, it's Instagram and Facebook. And I think,
what's your Instagram handle so everybody can follow you?
It's at Fearful to Fit.
Okay.
And so when people start out being a coach, it's always like, do Pinterest, do Google Plus, do this, do that. And it's like so many things and it's overwhelming. But when you focus on one or two and you really enjoy doing it, because I love pictures. I love videos. I love making people feel like they're a part of my life. And then I love when they share a part of their life. And so it's kind of like you create this sisterhood community online. And I really like that. And then I love that people message or like inbox and they're just like, oh my God, I saw your story. And then they tell me their story. And so it's been such a great way to connect with people that I would have never met. And I'm so grateful for that. And it's crazy every time someone's like, oh my God, you're Fearful to Fit. Like I've been following you for years. And it's kind of like, what? Like,
yeah, like you have?
I'm like, why?
No, I'm like, really? You sure about that?
Shit, what have I been saying?
That's exactly what happens to me. Like, what did I say? Or they start telling you your story and you're like, did I say that? Did I reveal that?
Oh God, you read that from a few years ago. I was still pretty like unclear about things. And I'm like, oh shit, I shared that. But it's been, I think it's so fun. And then you don't have to pretend. Like you're not pretending. You're not making a sales page for people to work with you. You're just like, here's my Instagram. And it's not really tailored to anything. And I don't have like a great brand. It's just like pictures.
Well, you are your brand. Your life is your brand.
Yeah.
You have a great brand. I mean,
I've been told by social media people to like either decide to just do business or just do family or just do that. And I'm like, but I can't, I mean, I'm a Libra, number one, so I can't divide. I am all things in balance.
Yes. Yeah. You know? That's so not true either. Like I mean, it's good to have a few themes. And if you look at your Instagram, it's like business, health, family. Those are three main themes. Yeah. You have other aspects of your life, but yeah, it's so true. There's just too many rules out there. Exactly. And that's honestly why we did the whole expansion mastermind and the expansion retreats, is because I've been focused so much on business, and yet there's this other piece where if you don't get the other piece, it doesn't matter how many good copy skills you have or whatever. It's like a block there. Okay. So Jay, tell me how to find you. Oops, we have a. How do we have that? We have an echo. Oh, and I can't hear you. Oh, there you go. Can you hear me?
I keep trying to turn the car on to charge because my phone's dying.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. Just tell everybody how to get to your website. Tell us about your Break Free program. Take a moment on that, and then we'll wrap it up. And you guys can go follow her and all that good stuff.
So fearfultofit.com. All my Instagram and Facebook is Fearful to Fit. Break Free Retreat is coming up October, and it's going to be in Suncadia. The last one was so fun. It was it was in Leavenworth, and it was called the Beauty Detox Retreat, and it was so great. And there were tears and laughter and dance parties and just like so many soul shakeups. And so I started to think like, how do we take that experience and elevate it even more? And then I found this almost 7,000 square foot lodge in Suncadia. And so I was like, let's make it, I mean, I just want to keep evolving. Like, let's make it bigger. Let's make it better. Let's keep with these anti-inflammatory, energizing foods. So we do all the cooking. I have 3 kitchen helpers, might have 4 depending on how many things we have going on. There's 3 speakers besides myself coming from Los Angeles and then Washington. And it's October 12th through the 14th. And I mean, that's it. And then, so the 6-month break free program is, I launched it last month, and I already said it's 6 months. And so it's more like in depth about breaking free from who you thought you were and actually becoming the person that you think you can be. So
Awesome.
that is like basically just the tiniest sentence about what it is.
And there's this, and it's also like a focus on health too, right?
Yeah.
Since you are,
oh yeah.
so it's like adding that spiritual mindset, emotional breakthrough piece with all of the health stuff that you specialize in too already.
Yeah. Mindset, emotional health, and weight loss.
Woohoo! I love it. I love it. So check her out, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes.
And what it was like to work with me and Kwaku. You're like one of my favorite people. I love working with you. I hope we will keep working together
forever.
Forever. So we've had so many awesome times that we've worked together, and I can't wait to do more. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jay, for sharing your story. And if you have any questions for us, just go ahead and put them in the comments, and we'll see you all very soon. I'm doing another case study in about an hour. So I'm on a roll today, sharing these stories. And I love you guys all. Thank you for being here. Bye, Jay.
Bye, Jess.